Derek, Brendan just said that maybe the stars were aligned. How hard was that to take?
Yeah, I think any time you lose a game in injury time is always tough, but you know, it's compounded when it's a cup final. You know, we're thinking about keeping the last sub for extra time. We probably just allowed ourselves to think that we were there to try and get the players in and regroup. I got the other two subs on early enough because I felt we'd put a lot of energy into the game, you know, and I felt we needed to try and keep the pressure on Celtic and keep trying to, you know, stop them getting up the pitch. You know, I thought we did it brilliantly for the majority of the game, but there was just spells where we couldn't quite apply the pressure enough. You know, when Jaden, I think, runs his course, we wanted a corner to deal with Rogic when he came on because I thought he was becoming a wee bit more an influence. So the subs were there to try and give us that extra energy. And you know, 351 days ago we reported for pre-season. It's been a long season with a tight squad. The boys have gave absolutely everything and knocked their pan in. And I think that there was nothing in the game other than maybe we just lacked a wee bit of legs and impetus to keep going forward and applying the pressure. Celtic are a good team, and good teams find an answer. And I thought Rogic, if I've seen it right, I think if Rogic chips Lewis with his right foot, Big Joe, then it's a class finish. And sometimes you've got to applaud that, and that's sometimes the difference between two teams. Sometimes it's misfortune, sometimes it's a bit of class, and I think today, if I've seen it right, I thought it was a brilliant finish from him.
How well? I mean, look from the stand that you'd managed to get a game plan that the players executed superbly for 60-65 minutes. You know, as you say, but it seemed like they did run out of legs a wee bit. When Johnny Hayes scores that goal and you've got that toehold in the game, terribly frustrating to lose an equaliser so quickly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I thought we had the better chances before we scored, and then I don't know if Jaden's header, middle of the goal, we worked a little move and got him into the middle of the goal, and maybe we could score there. I think Gordon's pulled off a couple of good saves at one each and at nothing each. But no, I think you're right. You know, we had to worry Celtic today. You know, they've come into this game absolutely flying. You know, bouncing off the coach. Unbelievable season. There's no way they would have felt any pressure today coming into the game, but they would have felt it momentarily when we scored. You know, we had to get the feeling that it might just blow up in their face their day, and we did it for a spell, and I think we did it for long spells when the game was 0-0 and 1 each. And I think the players implemented exactly what we wanted to do. We were brave, we were aggressive, posed ourselves, but also carrying a threat going forward. You can't just keep putting out fires, but you know, we never let Celtic get any real flow or rhythm into their game until the last, as you say, 15-20 minutes. Game gets stretched a wee bit. Don't like when the pitch is stretched like that against Celtic, you know, and it's important we try to condense that space. But we put a lot into it. I'm just gutted for the players, you know, gutted for the supporters who made a big effort today again. But there's, I feel we'll be back. I absolutely feel we can come back here next year and make it go our way the next time, and it is fine lines.
You mentioned those chances in the first half. In the second half, you had a match-winning chance. Johnny Hayes wins the ball down the right-hand side. Kenny McLean's made the run, and to a person, I would imagine most of the people on the ground are thinking.
I think if you were to reenact that position, you know, when Johnny Hayes robs McGregor, 9 times out of 10 we score there. You know, I think, you know, if Kenny just got beyond it a wee bit too much and maybe just stands still, I think you could probably see Lustig getting back in his eye line. He maybe thinks but whatever it is, it's not happening. You know, but you know, we would normally score off that position. So it was a big moment, there's no doubt. But no, I don't think Kenny or Johnny can take the full weight of responsibility for not winning the game. You know, the two boys were so influential. They were excellent from start to finish. As were the majority of the team. You know, I thought we brought a high level of performance today. It felt like two proper teams slugging it out. You know, it was chances. Both keepers made great saves and good saves. And when it's slugging it out, sometimes it's that killer punch or a lucky punch. And And today I think Rogic, it was a bit of class, to be honest. I thought it was a good finish, and we're disappointed, of course.
You've maybe won an unwanted treble of your own this season, but it's the end of an era for some of the players at Aberdeen. What now? What's for the summer? You've got a wee break and you regroup, but presumably the hard work carries on. You've got players leaving and players you need to bring in literally a week or two.
No, I think it's been ongoing. There's been loads of conversations, loads of effort to try and bring good players to the club. I'm actually quite relaxed. I'm gutted I can't hold on to the ones that are leaving. I'd love to lock them in Pittodrie, give them what they want and keep them and work with them, because I love working with the boys, you know, and it's nobody's leaving because they're unhappy, you know. They're leaving to go and financially make themselves better, try a new challenge, you know. That's something we can't bridge the gap on, unfortunately, but I think they all go out with their heads held high, every one of them that are leaving. And for the ones that are remaining, we'll get good players in the summer. The focus is on my recruitment team and myself and the board to make sure we get good players in. But the days is long gone now. Aberdeen just, you know, maybe getting to the odd cup final. Third cup final in 4 years. We're fourth attempt at Hampden this year, fourth game at Hampden. This club couldn't even play at Hampden for so many years. So we feel this is where we are. This is what we do at Aberdeen now. We get to cup finals, we give ourselves a chance to win. That's not going to change because a few boys are leaving. You know, we'll still crack the whip, we'll get good players in, and we'll be ready to go again.
You started Scotland, Derek, and it worked out very well for you. Were you tempted to leave him on any longer, or did you have nothing left? He
was just feeling it. It was just at that wee cusp of the game where we felt that we weren't quite applying the same pressure, and we tried. And Jayden, there was one instance right in front of us, and the staff picked up on it where he just looked as if he was breathing a wee bit. He's not had a lot of game time. If he doesn't get sent off at Ibrox, we get him 90 minutes at Partick, you know. So we actually felt we'd probably get 70 minutes out of max. But for all yous who thought I was mad for starting him, that's the reason why he occupied the two centre halves, you know. And he should score. He should do better with his chance. But I thought he led the line well. He allowed us to get up on the second balls and get our midfield going that side and beating Celtic's press. And his presence alone, I thought, annoyed the Celtic defenders, and we had to annoy them today, and we did. We just didn't quite manage to do it for 90 odd minutes.
Was it harder for you to get out after he came off from the defence?
I thought so, yeah. I thought so. You know, we then put McLean out onto the wide right to get up the pitch then and try and tie down McGregor, and I thought that to an extent was working. But then I thought Rogic had a couple of wee moments when he danced inside and got a shot away, and didn't he hit the target, one went over the bar. But I'd always had in my head if Rogic came on, a corner was the one to snuff him out. He dealt with him brilliant like Pittodrie 2 weeks ago. So we get Rooney on for fresh legs, and we know there's a goal in Rooney. You know, but I think a combination, a couple of changes, and maybe just, you know, those energy levels not been quite at it. But it was a proper final. We've played our part. We're that close to winning it, but unfortunately we haven't.
Enjoy the summer.
Thanks.